Hello and welcome to another Charity Toolkit video by Andy Best. Today, Scarlett and I are going to be taking you on an adventure through Donorfy and Mailchimp, but not through the native Donorfy and Mailchimp integration. We're going to sidestep that, and we're going to do some other cool stuff as a result. Who the heck is Scarlett? Well, she's fiction. This is her. This is her coming into a monthly recurring payment widget. This is a Donorfy donation widget. It's not one of the better examples of ones I've built. If you want to see some of those, there are plenty of other videos on the YouTube channel here. But yeah, she's coming into this form to donate 20 quid, 30 quid. She's going to go 50 quid, 50 quid a month. She needs an email address. Now, given that this is a Mailchimp situation we're dealing with, the email address is quite important. So what I've got here is a website, mail.tm. What this website does is it generates on-demand inboxes, email inboxes, genuine ones, and the associated email addresses with them. So if I just click that for a sec, that gets that to my clipboard. I can put that in there. So any email sent to that address will be reconciled over into this view here. We've also got an instance of Donorfy opened. Tesley, that's Scarlett's last name. Well, she's not found yet because she's not in my Donorfy instance yet. We've also got a Donorfy trigger in play. Now, the way this trigger is configured is to look for any new RPIs created, recurring payment instructions that get created. It vets them against a list that I've prepared. So I have a list in here that is taking on any RPIs created today. And then the action that this trigger is going to take is to send that data out to a script that I've written that I've got on my server waiting to hear about this person coming into Donorfy. We're going to steward them to Mailchimp as a result. Speaking of Mailchimp, this is my contacts, my audience page in Mailchimp. There is nobody here. This is a brand new instance of Mailchimp, and there's no audience in here. And I have set up an automated flow that Scarlett is going to be entering and moving through. And I'll discuss those steps when we get to that. So let's rewind. Let's get back to the donation she's about to make. Because it's a recurring payment widget, it's going to use Go Cardless. So the Go Cardless modal arrives for us. We're going to just fill out the last bits of bank information here. These are inauthentic credentials. It will create an authentic mandate in Go Cardless. Direct debit will exist, but because those bank details aren't real, it will fail in a matter of days. So my donation is being processed. So that's the end of the form. Let's jump across to Donorfy. Run that search for Scarlett Tesley again. She's arrived now, which is cool. And we'll just verify that she's got the recurring payment instruction of 50 quid onto her timeline. Okay, so this is my list of triggers in Donorfy. This is the trigger in question that we're interested in, the new regular donor. It's looking for RPIs that have been added, and it's currently got a success rate of 5. It's been run 5 times prior to me starting this video. Those are my tests. So what we're interested in is that figure reaching 6. And the only way that's going to happen is if I continually refresh this page for when the trigger runs. We've got no control over when that runs. It's in a queue somewhere in the bowels of Donorfy, and we simply have to watch this interface to know when that trigger has run. So I'm going to cut you here and bring you back when that's the case. All right. Sorry, nodded off there for a second. That's gone through. Over to Mailchimp then. Let's give the audience a refresh, and we should be seeing somebody in there now. Scarlett. Yes, here she is. Scarlett has arrived. So she is in my subscribed status for email marketing. She's in here in my Mailchimp account now. Let's take a look then at the automation flow. So the automation flow, try and ignore all the numbers on here. So 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, and so on. These are tests conducted prior to this video starting. We will be interested in seeing those numbers increase, of course. But yeah, for the time being, this is where we are at the sort of base level of this video. So there are 4 steps in this automated flow. The first step is the entry step. This enables Scarlett to get in here in the first place. She's then going to get sent an email. We can verify if that's happened or not. I tell you what, let's give that a refresh. Here we go. That 4 has become 5. So she's entered this flow for sure. Let's jump over to that temporary email inbox that we set up for Scarlett. We'll give that a refresh as well. Yeah, so that email, first step, or second step rather, in that flow has executed, and she's gotten that email. This, by the way, it's a custom HTML email that I've built. It wasn't built using Mailchimp's builder. I've built this, hand-coded it from scratch. This is another service that I offer, not just for Mailchimp, but of course Donorfy's own acknowledgement emails and the emails that Donorfy sends as well. They can be HTML coded and styled. So the first step in that flow, the second step in that flow, send the email, that's executed. So she should be nudged down shortly to this update block in the flow. What this does is it updates her record here in Mailchimp, and then subsequently she'll go on to the Donorfy receipt block. And I'll show you what that does when that executes. So we're going to refresh as before, quite like similar to how we did with the Donorfy trigger flow. It's just a case of refreshing this until we see that final number increment. And there we go, that 3's become 4, so she's hit that Donorfy receipt step there as well. Just before I show you the effect of that, that's the end of this journey, but we could introduce a delay block of 2 or 3 days and then the next email in the chain. Follow that up with an update block and a subsequent Donorfy receipt block. Another delay, a third email, 6 months later, whatever. You know, this journey, you can plan this all here and then keep that donor engaged through that prescribed flow. Let's run back to her timeline. Let's give that a refresh now. And now that she's come out the other side of that Mailchimp automation, the email outbound activity has appeared on her timeline. That's the Donorfy receipt. It tells us that Mailchimp was the initiating platform. It tells us that the subject line was "thank you for your regular gift." So we know that she's made it that far through the flow. We can then do our own tagging, purpose setting, other API calls and things like this based on how far they get through that journey back into Mailchimp. We've also got under our roof a better idea of how far through these engagement funnels comparative to the other donation activity and things she does here in Donorfy. So that is a more tight-knit way of getting those two platforms to talk to one another. If that's something you'd be interested in, if you'd like to boost what your Mailchimp integration with Donorfy is doing for you, please do reach out, and we can scope what it is you need, and I can build you the necessary flows and controls to get that data backwards and forwards.